Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me today on the Divine Messages podcast. My name is Karina, and I am a psychic medium out of Calgary, Alberta. I actually had another episode that I was going to record and release today, but these last couple of weeks have been so unbelievably heavy in the world, and I felt strongly guided to do an episode about lightworkers. So on February 2nd, 22, I woke up ready to have the best day ever. I was going to make the day the start of a new beginning of hope, love, and manifesting. That day was all anyone was talking about, and I had a whole plan of writing out a gratitude list and then writing out a whole list of all the things that I wanted to manifest for my life. But that day did not go to plan. In fact, it went the complete opposite way. Anything that could go wrong did go wrong. All of my electronics started acting up. Everything just felt super off and wonky. And by the end of the day, everything that I had wanted to accomplish didn't happen. What I thought was going to be the most wonderful, positive, happy day ended up being extremely heavy and draining. I lay in bed that night feeling defeated and upset that such a spectacular day in history was a flop. And honestly, it bothered me so much that I had to ask my guides what the heck happened. And the answer that came to me was loud and clear. I was told that there was a spiritual war that was coming to a head and that it was light versus dark. As a light worker, I was under attack that day. I felt every bit of heaviness from the entire world. As an empath, and if you are an empath, you will understand this, I felt as if I couldn't breathe. And just a couple of days later, a war broke out between Russia and the Ukraine. Over the last 2 years, I have not only watched but felt so much hate and fear in this world. I even did a full episode on it called Love Thy Neighbor. I believe we are all experiencing the biggest lesson of our human existence, and all that lesson is whether we choose love or we choose fear, and that is the spiritual war that is happening. And I also believe that light workers all over the world are waking up and being called into service to help lead the way to love. Ever since the beginning of the pandemic, I have lost count of how many people I've worked with that were either in the beginning of their spiritual awakening, the peak of it, or fully awakened. We all chose to incarnate at this time period to help balance out old past karma and to help humanity evolve. As empaths, as intuitives, as healers, and as light workers, I feel it's our duty to help transmute the heavy negative energy in the world. And you may be sitting there wondering what the heck you could do to help humanity. You may be wondering if your energy is even good enough to do something or if it's even going to matter. Let me make this very clear. Your love, your positive energy, and your prayers will help. If we all come together, we can change so much. There is no coincidence that so many people are talking about people waking up these days. Celebrities and even well-known people are discussing it. Many people are either attaching to the light energy or the darker energy. I know myself when I feel like I'm falling into a dark hole. I start to have anxiety. I start to feel sick to my stomach. I can also become angry, frustrated, or even depressed. But what I'm fully aware of is that I recognize that this isn't really me. Those aren't really my thoughts or my energy. That is the negative energy. And once I snap myself out of it, I find my way back to love and light. And I know that isn't always easy to do, and yes, I am pretty good at it only because I have been in battle with negative energy since I opened up and started working as a light worker. And this may sound weird, but I know when I'm under psychic attack. I sink fast, I fall into that rabbit hole, and I literally have to crawl my way out of it, but I do it. My spirit guides don't let me stay down for very long because I have important work to do. If I ever feel myself stuck, I will do everything I can to clear my energy. I may smudge, I do a clearing, a meditation, I take a sea salt bath or use positive affirmations. Really, anything that will bring me back to that safe and loving energy. If you are an empath, it is important that you keep your own vibrations high right now. Eat well, drink lots of water, only engage in things that bring you joy. Be mindful of who you spend your time with. And be careful of what you watch and how you speak to yourself. We must find a way through this darker energy, and the only way to do that is to shine a light as bright as you possibly can to diminish that darkness. Love one another, no matter what their beliefs are. We are all just trying to navigate through this world right now, and the best thing that we can do is love. Love harder than you've ever loved before. Also, forgive one another. Try not to let negativity come between you and a loved one, a friend, a coworker, or even a stranger. I cannot even begin to express the power of forgiveness. It is at that purest level of love that dissipates any hate. If you have been feeling a calling to open up as a light worker, now is the time. If you have had a calling to help people and you don't really know what to do, ask your guides to lead the way. You may be guided to prayer, meditation, classes, books, and more. All it takes is a wish to help. So I want to leave you all with this today. You may feel helpless in this heavy, heavy world, but you can make a difference. And the way to do that is by loving harder than you have ever loved. Spread positivity and kindness to everyone that you can. Send love and light to diminish that darkness. Answer the calling to being a light worker. And even if you aren't a light worker, you can still send healing and it will help. Now, if you aren't sure if you are a light worker, but you feel something is guiding you to look into it, I would suggest listening to the following episodes that I did last year. Empaths, Spiritual Awakening, Tapping into Your Own Psychic Abilities, and Natural Born Healers. You will know as it will stir something in your soul that you won't be able to deny. I want to thank you all so much, and I want to leave you all with these lyrics from the song, What the World Needs Now. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. If you would like to book a reading with me, I can be reached at www.divinemessages.ca or on Instagram at divinemessages333 or at the Divine Messages Podcast, as well as on Facebook under Divine Messages or the Divine Messages Podcast. Please bear in mind that the perspectives and opinions represented in this podcast are based solely on the Divine Messages interpretations. We can in no way be held responsible for the actions of our followers.